Tonight was a business meeting, basically, just, kind of just to keep everybody abreast about what's been going on in the group and the concerns that have been brought up. And we have them once a month. We used to have meetings twice a month, but because of gas prices, we cut it down to once a month. Now, who did not get levels? Copies of the level system. But anyway, going on with the fort, I do have to say that I am completely blown away by all the stuff that I got in. Absolutely, totally blown away. I mean, you're talking EVPs that one person got, that somebody went in another time and got the same answer, if not a different answer. I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely and totally amazing. And the quality of the EVPs are mind-blowing. I mean, I started going through these EVPs and I'm like, holy cow, it can't get better than this. Then I opened somebody else's, holy shit, listen, and it was like every single one I opened up, it was just incredible after incredible after incredible. So real good job, and I think that we should be happy for ourselves on this one, because that was great. I got to take about 20 minutes or so and talk to Hank and Deb and Caroline. This has all been in my head for years.
Not written down, but in our brains, church related or religion related.
No.
It's a spiritual movement.
Right, exactly. We got to start limiting where the hell we're going. We can't keep doing this.
Oh, but Stacy, that's so hard because there's nobody else that's
what,
really
though?
doing it anywhere in this area. I mean, it's
We
so
got a
hard.
case in from-
It's so
Well,
hard
they
to
are, but
say.
we're cleaning up all
Yeah.
the other ones.
And
Yeah,
this
that's
is what the
true.
problem is. I mean, we got a case in from Binghamton. They were practicing satanic black in their house for years, and now all of a sudden it's so bad in the house that they want somebody to come in and clean it up. And it's like, you know what? Do you realize that's the least of $300 out of my pocket and my time to go up and clean the mess that you've already made?
Right.
I don't know. We just got a case in from Canandaigua. Now that involved the son killing his stepdad, and it's bad. But my point is if we keep taking these cases, we are not going to do anything else but. And we've gone away from what we really were doing.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the time. If I'm constantly doing all these cases all the time, it doesn't leave us the time to go do the fun things that we like to do. This case in Binghamton, for example, ones that were doing all the satanic crap in their house, they called a group from Buffalo. What is this group from Buffalo going to do for them? They got some kid that lives in Norwich that's going to come into their house, that's never done an investigation, has never been trained, and is going into a house where they're getting bit, scratched, pushed downstairs and stuff like this. So we were so big into the research part. That was what drove us. That was our passion. And that research is something we haven't been able to do for almost the past 2 years. We haven't been able to go to a place like Homer Art Center just to do an investigation, just to see what we got, because we've gotten so many cases in, sometimes 8, 9, 10 cases in a day, that it's just so time consuming that we haven't been able to schedule those or go to those. Tonight we are going to go to Erie Canal, outside of Erie Canal Village in Chittenango. We've been there several times before, but the last time we were there, we got just really compelling evidence.
This particular spot was built about 1850, 1855 in that area. It was obviously hand-built, numerous amount of labor, probably hundreds of people. Up the road about a quarter of a mile where the original Erie Canal was from the 1820s, there was an epidemic of cholera, and there was numerous people that died of cholera while digging the canal, and in fact, they're still buried in mounds up there. The road up there is Clay Hill Road, but at the time it was called Cholera Hill. In its heyday, this was the thruway, this was the railroad, This was everything. There was about 5,000 boats that were on the canal. It operated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was a police officer for 32 years in the village. So investigations was the last thing I did. So this particular story we're relating to was of interest to me as a result of it. Somewhere around the the 1990s, a woman approached me that used to live here in the village. And she said that her brother, who was dying of cancer at the time, wanted to die with a clear conscience. So the story was, he took her down here to the site and then proceeded to explain the story to her. She waited until his death, which was about a month later, and then she came to me, related the story to me, and then died 2 weeks later. The story, as she put it, her and her brother back in the mid-1920s used to jump off of the high-rise bridge that was at this location. At that point in time, another youth, again, we're talking kids 10 to 12 years old, apparently came down or came amongst them, and they wanted him to jump into the water with them, and he didn't want it. He was kind of afraid. So they goaded him into it, and he did jump, and he landed head first into the mud. There's about 1.5 feet of mud underneath the water. And he drowned. And they panicked. I'm gonna guess right in this area here, underneath it, is where the body is. Her brother and another individual who died shortly thereafter himself took the body over to where there was a sunken boat, which was the beach nut. It was a steam barge at the time. And they buried his body in the mud alongside of the beach nut, and that's where the body remained and still does. The kid, whoever he was, that jumped into that water that day, I don't think jumped. He went headfirst into the mud. He was pushed. And I think they got him up there, they goaded him into it. He probably said, no, I'm not gonna do it or whatever. And they pushed him. The fact that they pushed him, I believe they pushed him, he went head first in the mud, would have been the reason that they probably hid the body.
Do you think that would be a spirit that could haunt the area?
I'm not that familiar with that, but if there was such a thing, I'm sure that it could. I mean, it's a lost soul